Okay, I call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening, and we'd like to begin the meeting with the invocation and pledges to the flags.
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Roger Campos, who's going to lead us in both of those, sir.
Everybody, please bow your heads. We come before you to welcome you to this meeting. As we begin this meeting, we ask that you would guide our thoughts and our actions so that we may have a successful meeting today. Help us to accomplish our goals while displaying your character. We ask for your inspiration and insights. We ask for your direction and guidance. We ask for your peace and harmony. May we accomplish great things this day, and may we display an attitude of cooperation and respect. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, we'd like to move right into recognitions. Dr. Risto?
Yes, sir. It's always an honor to start our meetings off, and welcome to this October 19th regular board meeting. We will start it off with recognitions this evening, and we're going to recognize one of our elementary, our middle school, and our high school students this evening, as well as take time to acknowledge one of our divisions here this evening. So I'd like this time to turn it back over to Mr. Roger Campos, who is going to start that part off for us this evening.
Thank you, sir. First off, we're going to start with Elm Creek Elementary. Already messing up. Natalia Aviles, come on up. Come over here, Natalia. Right here. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Smile through your mask. Right. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Natalia is a true leader on campus. She exhibits all characteristics of Elm Creek Elementary's proud, which means she is prepared, respectful, an outstanding citizen, unique, and determined. Natalia helps welcome new students to the campus, shows them around, and helps translate for students who are learning the English language during our special classes. Thank you for being an outstanding explorer, Natalia. What we do nowadays. All right. Next up from McNair Middle School is Tommy Bendecourt. 1, 2, 3. All right. So Tommy is an exceptional student, and she's also a McNair student athlete. She goes above and beyond to excel in the classroom and out on the competition floor or field. Tommy is a member of the 8th grade A team for volleyball. She's in the cross-country team and Girl Scouts. She has previously earned the recognition of a McNair Challenge Warrior and aspires to fulfill the criteria to continue to earn that recognition every 9 weeks on our campus. So to become a Challenge Warrior, we expect our athletes to earn points in the following categories: academics, community service, school participation, school spirit, and acting a 7 Habits of Highly Effective People test through our Leader in Me program. Tommy currently has all A's in her class and even volunteers to help with morning announcements from week to week. Her teachers would describe her as intelligent and dedicated to her studies. Her coaches would say that she's a fantastic teammate and works hard every day to get better. Tommy takes pride in being a role model to our 7th grade athletes and represents the true definition of a McNair student athlete. Next up from Southwest High School, we got Miles Moxley. Ready? And 1, 2, 3. All right. So the student of the month for Southwest High School is Miles Moxley. Miles currently participates in football and track and serves as the junior class president. He currently ranks 5th in the junior class and participates in various community service activities through school groups. Along with the school activities, Miles carries a full load of dual credit and on-ramp college level courses and takes part in our law career pathway. When asked about Miles, Mr. Neil Scott, his law pathway teacher, says Miles is an extraordinary student, and his grades are nothing short of the type of student that he is. He prides himself on being involved in the community and usually is at most school functions as a student body member and athlete. Thank you, Miles, for being all that you are, bringing that to Southwest High School. I'll say one. We'll just get this a little higher. All right, and smile through your mask. 1, 2, 3. Hang on there real quick. Anybody, any parents want to take a picture?
Are we able to take the minutes?
That's,
Okay, I'll do a photo of that too.
if you like to, you may keep it going. Real quick.
So we always know behind our students of the month or our families of the month as well. So I'd like to ask if we have any parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, would you please stand? Let us acknowledge you as well. And if we can have our principals from these 3 campuses, if our principals, would you please stand? Let us authorize the volume. Wait, being a student of the month is a recognition and validation that you're doing some really great things, making great decisions. So we just congratulate you, encourage you to continue to do what you're doing. Natalia, Tommy, all congratulations to all 3 of you. Very proud of you. That's all the fanfare is there.
All right. Last but certainly not least, we would also like to recognize Texas Education Human Resources Day. So Governor Greg Abbott has proclaimed October 13, 2021 as Texas Education Human Resources Day, a day set aside to recognize and honor the important contributions made by school staff who work in human resources. Human resources staff work hard each day to make sure our schools are staffed with high-quality employees and that those employees have a positive work environment. Thank you to our human resources staff for all you do.
I'd like to ask Francis Parson is our assistant superintendent for administration, human resource. I think you have some other key members, Francis. Do you want to introduce them, or recognize them for the special HR month of October 2021?
If you're an AHR, if you'll stand up, including my new AHR. So we have Executive Director Will Baker in the back, who is our AHR. Nathan Forrest, who was with us in AHR and has now moved to talent management as a coordinator. Our newest person is hiding, but she's part of AHR, the Director of Health Services, Linda Guerrero. And then we have our other Executive Director of Administration and Pupil Services, and that's Adrian.
So congratulations and congratulations on HR.
And that's it for recognitions today.
Mr. President, that concludes our recognition part of the board meeting this evening.
Thank you, Lord, and thank you, Roger. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item number 4, public comments and/or comments related to posted board agenda items. Homero, do we have anything? We do have some.
How many, 3 or 4 sign up, Nathan?
3?
Yes, sir. We've had 3 individuals signed up tonight. So before our individuals speak, I'd like to just provide some general rules of engagement for public comments before we begin. When addressing the audience during the public forum, speaker's commentary must adhere to the following. Everyone must model courtesy and respect. Speakers shall not employ profane or threatening language, nor shall they engage in any personal attacks. The public has the right to make critical and harsh remarks. However, the expectation is that the message delivered by the speaker is done so in a constructive manner with a collaborative purpose. Speakers are expected to respect both the decorum of the public meeting and the authority of the board. The Board of Trustees requests that derogatory or inflammatory statements and personal attacks on individuals be avoided. Caution shall be exercised in publicly attacking specific individuals. In accordance with board policy BED local, the board shall not deliberate or respond to any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with the notice of the meeting. Speakers who have signed up to speak on a specific agenda item must focus their own comments on the posted agenda item. We have 3 individuals who have signed up to speak this evening. So the first individual that we have signed up today is going to be Mr. Raul Alveda. I'm not sure if Mr. Alveda is here present, okay? So Mr. Alveda, you will have 3 minutes to speak. Would you all like him to come up here? Yes, if you would like to come up here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up here. My name's Raul Alveda. I work for City Council District 4, and I'm actually here on behalf of the councilwoman. She wanted me just to say a couple of words on the joining of an election, possibly with Bexar County. She wanted me to thank you for taking this opportunity to consider joining the election with Bexar County. It is it's something that would really help our constituents that are at Bob Hope, Spicewood, Indian Creek, Sky Harbor, Hidden Cove. We have a lot of people that actually do vote, and this would benefit them to be able to vote anywhere in the city for the school elections. So she wanted me again to thank you for considering it, and hopefully you guys are able to join with Bexar County and give us an opportunity to vote. And on a personal note, that would actually affect me. I work downtown, so on early vote, we go vote at the county court, and I'm not able to vote unless I come all the way out here. So please consider it. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul.
Thank you, Mr. Alveda. Okay, our second speaker will be Miss Diana Velos-Quiroz. Ms. Velos-Quiroz, are you here present? Okay, would you like to come up? Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. As an active member of this community, I come to you this evening to ask the board members to highly consider in finally making a change that would definitely benefit all community voters of Southwest. I can personally say that I have seen, heard, and lived the voter discouragement of them not being able to vote. I am a Bexar County election judge. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm very familiar with our district being the only district in San Antonio to be doing this and not having a joint election with the county. And I have seen voters come to me and wanting to vote and not being able to vote. We have elderly, we have disabled, we have people that are carpooling with other people, and they just feel very inconvenienced to be able to tell that person, hey, I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed to vote here for the, I'm voting for the county or the city, but I have to vote somewhere else for the district. They're not gonna take that inconvenience to ask the person that's taking them to bring them way across town or wherever they're at to come and vote. Elderly, there's no public transportation to these locations that are being used right now with the district. It's too far for a lot of our voters. It's dangerous because our roads, Pearsall Road is a high volume, fast volume. It's very dangerous to walk through Medina River to get here, to vote. We're putting our citizens, our community in danger. It needs to change. There's inconvenience, there's inaccessible and confusion that needs to change. It is your duty as our board members to change and give our community voters convenience, accessibility, and understanding. The tactics of voter suppression need to stop. Enough is enough. The reason I say this, there is no logical explanation as to why this continues. Stop attempting to reduce the number of voters, making voting less convenient. Stop physically intimidating and attacking prospective voters, which, by the way, is illegal. This is a federal crime. Intentionally deceiving voters to prevent them from voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Quiroz.
Thank you, ma'am. And our last speaker for the evening will be Mr. Patricio Simon.
Simon.
Simon? Yes, I'm sorry, sir. Thank you. You may come up at this time.
Wow. Now I don't have anything to say. But nonetheless, I've been a election judge since 1969. And what's happening needs to be adjusted. And we're going to get a better turnout, and we'll be able to service everybody. We went through a lot to get it to where it's at now, the election process, where anybody can vote from anywhere. So being able to use that will give you a lot of possibilities that you're going to get advertisement, a lot of advertisement, because the county has the advertisement to present. So having said that, I don't want to run out of time. My next subject, and I don't know if I can bring it up, but it's sidewalks. Specific place, sidewalk in front of Indian Creek Elementary. The sidewalk ramp for ADA accessibility is below the street level. So from a safety perspective, it needs to be raised. I've already reached out and made some presentations on it to other agencies, and we're waiting to see what happens. But I would like for the whole board to join with me and reach out to the people that are responsible for our path going to school, especially for the little ones. They love to splash in the water. So that's what we have, that's what we're going to give. I hope nobody's offended. And if you're offended, raise your hand and I'll make an apology. Does anybody have anything, any questions? I don't have the answers, but I'll look for them for you.
1 minute, sir.
1 minute?
Yes.
Oh, that's not a question, is it?
No, just letting you know.
Okay.
No, yeah, I'll explain.
Thanks for
Okay.
letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. And just to clarify for you and for the rest of the public, the reason we're not responding is because public comments are not allowed to be responded by the board at the time they're made. Okay, they can be brought up when the agenda items are brought up before the board, and then I'm making notes, and then we'll take into account what's been said, okay? But we cannot, it's not a discussion, it's just a time for you to make comments to us. But thank you very much. Okay, thank you so much. Any others?
At this time, Mr. President, that's the last of our public speakers.
Thank you. And thank you all for making your comments. At this time, we'll move on to consent agenda, item 5. Board members, you've had that before you. Are there any questions?
I have questions on item B, the overnight stay.
Okay.
Item B.
Would you like to address your question at this time, or would you like to have the item pulled?
I would like to have the item pulled.
Okay. I have a motion to pull item B, 1, 2, and 3.
B, 3.
Item B3. Is there a second to that motion?
Can we ask a question?
I mean, is
I mean, I
First-
can ask a question. That's it.
Okay, that's why I was asking.
Okay, I'm
Would you like?
confused.
Okay.
Okay, so in asking the question of, for that cross-country meet, where you're using a yellow bus and it's over 157 miles, And I don't know if it was reason why we're using a yellow bus versus a bus that should be,
I know the
what do
reason.
they call them, a coach bus. So I saw a yellow bus on there, and I don't want to be like inconclusive of why we're not using it versus.
Well, I will share right now that we're running into a lot of issues with charter buses. We're gonna have some of our football games. We're gonna have a game this week that we're gonna have some charter buses, but then some yellow buses because it's really the market and labor shortages that charters are having. So we've tried 8 different charter companies to fulfill. We have 8 on our books, and at this time, we're just depending on if they have an outbreak with COVID and everybody's kind of using charter buses and getting more buses than they need because they're separating students. So that's what we've been running into. So we'll continue to try to get charter buses on these long trips because we'd rather do that too. It's just, right now we're running into this issue with the charter companies not being able to service us. And we had ran into that at a couple football games where even our band wasn't even able to attend because of the charter buses.
Also, I want to point out that the yellow bus today is different than the yellow bus of yesterday. And a lot of times, we did the charters on long trips because of the heat elements in South Texas. And I would say the majority of our fleet is AC, 100% AC and 100% heat now. And yeah, it's more desirable, and we'd love to keep the mileage off of our yellow buses when we can, Mr. Brown. But in some cases, like, I know we had a debacle 2 weeks ago where everything went to put, and we were trying to get buses from all over the place. As part of the interruption of the supply chain that's going on, we're seeing it in the buses as well.
And Dr. Versus, they're not taking a yellow bus to New Mexico, correct?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Just kidding. Okay, does that answer your question?
Never say
sir?
never.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I need a motion.
I move.
We have a motion, we need a second.
I second.
We have a second. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Now, before we go on at this time, and I should have done it before I went into this, is I'm going to take a 1-minute break. I know all of you want to stay in the audience, but those of you that would like to leave, you're excused as of now. Okay, so please feel free to leave, and thank you so much for attending and for what you do. You didn't elbow me. I thought that was kind of nice for them to see. They were, okay, so that's all gone through. Pete, I had a friend of mine who had a planned trip to Cowboy game, and he had to cancel because he couldn't get a bus.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I mean, it's really happening.
I just don't want somebody.
It's really happening. Yeah.
They have charter buses.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the realm of that complaint.
And it's causing, because sometimes we can get them, and then the next week we can't, so somebody does it. So why did they have them last week? We got to explain, you know?
At least we're making it public that there is
Yeah.
a shortage.
Yeah. Okay, we good? Okay, we'll go into items of information. Number 1, construction update.
Yes, sir. We got Rafael Barajas and the team here. They're going to kind of give us an update of where we are on our projects, our bond projects, and kind of give everybody some insight of where we are and where we're trying to head down the road. So I'll turn it over to Rafael.
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm going to have Sean Bacon and James Mitchell with yours give us a presentation on the aquatic center construction update. I'll let you go.
Thank you. Well, good evening. Here we are again, working about 50% through the project on the pools facility. And so currently, with the project, we are on the verge of starting to dry in the facility. And so with that comes the complexity of now, are we getting materials on time and such? And I think we've kind of hinted that we've made great strides to corner that and subdue that, but we're going to talk a little bit more in depth on that here in a minute. So I'm going to get through the glamour photos and where we are in construction activity. We're completing the bowstring jugs installation in the sense that they're forming and shoring them up. They're already installed, but we have X bracing and such that need to be installed. Wrapping up the structural steel, and MEP rough-in is ongoing. And then cold form metal framing, which is basically like some perimeter walls or interior metal stud framing walls, along with CMU. That is all ongoing. And then what we are looking to do is install roof deck and then hopefully start to dry the facility in. So here we are, some of the photos. You can see the bowstring trusses are all installed. Just shoring them up and squaring them up. Here's some of the MEP rough ends. And we actually even have the Murtha product, the actual Murtha pool. So part of the exciting part of this is all of that material is here on site. And what you see in the left image is some of the filtration system tanks, and then in the crate you will see the pool heater as well. And then again, there's not a lot of glamour photos at this point, but we do plan on providing at the next meeting and a fly through again like we did before. So with that, what we'd like to do is really spend a little bit of time on schedule and some complexities that we are starting to see that are arriving. We've tried to push those off and control those. But we now are actually up against a few items. And with that, I'm going to let James talk a little bit more about the schedule.
Well, I want to share, because we've been meeting with the team, and, it kind of came to the realization, probably our last executive meeting with the full team working on the project. We went to the facility subcommittee. What we're running into, and James will probably talk about some of the issues, is the shortage of raw materials. The big ticket items, George did a great job. We got our pool here. The actual Murtha pool is on site. We have everything we need there. But it's things that you don't think that you would have to hoard or find that are just coming up. And so we're basically looking at probably next month bringing to the board a change order to extend the completion date into possibly June or July, depending on James and his team are going to work real hard to still meet our April date. But it doesn't look likely because it's going to be based on materials. Things that are just right now hard to come by. And so we're running into this project and another project that we'll talk about. But I know, James, I don't know if you want to give too much information. It's pretty much that's what it's on.
That pretty much covers it. I would say to add on to that, I mean, it's not even just raw materials, it's labor, it's trucking and shipping materials to site. One of the things that we did early on to try and tackle a lot of these things, when we heard about these issues coming up, we tried to get in front of it by procuring all of our mechanical, electrical, plumbing materials, metal studs, steel, the Murtha pool. So we tried to get the big ticket items that we knew could really affect our schedule long term, and we did. We got ahead of those items really well. It's like Brandon said, some of the things that you would never think about, like roof insulation. It's been a huge one. Roofing materials in general has been a huge issue for us. So we're still fighting through these items. Like Brandon said, we're not exactly ready. We're not exactly at a point where I can give you a for sure, a timeline of how this is affecting our schedule, but we're waiting on a couple more things to confirm, and hopefully by November we'll be ready to give you that for it.
And so for the board knows, we're at the same time, we have our new aquatics director in all these meetings with us when we're making decisions. And swimming is happening now, and it's going to be in full season probably to the end of February. And really the end of spring and summer is more of like just kind of a training time, like strength and conditioning. So it won't impact seasons. It would be great to have it where they can practice in the summer and we can open it to the public. But we just wanted to be out in front, let you know as we move forward. We're going to be walking with Doris and Armin Mock and discussing what a real completion date is. I know there's a lot of cool things around this, opening day ceremonies and getting this thing going. But we just want to be out front and transparent with you that unforeseen circumstances are making a delay of the actual completion date. And we will work to see what that looks like, and as they uncover more information, we can really set that date and have a firm date. But right now, it's too early to tell. I know, talking to Doris, they're telling their team that the date is still April. They're shooting for April. So that's what they're gonna try to do, and then we'll kind of just see what happens after. You know, as far as flexibility and how we're gonna look at when these materials and these things start to even out for us. Questions for Doris or Mama Mock or Sapos team over here?
Do some of these items that are on these back orders or these items that are on back order, are they gonna be increasing our costs if we have to come out with the higher costs of trying to get these items, or we're gonna wait until see if the cost goes down and try to buy them at that cost?
Yeah, a lot of it kind of depends. For example, if we got a notification that something, you know, we wouldn't be able to get it and still meet our April timeline, or for some reason we couldn't go with the specified product, or the product, you know, that was approved during the submittal process and we were forced to go with something else, it may affect the price then, but we're trying our best to limit that as much as possible.
The material escalation has pretty much been controlled. It's structural steel and concrete. We've gotten through most of those two phases. So that's a big one. The only time is some of these materials that are hard to find. Yes, they are driving those prices up because they're going to take it to people that are willing to pay. The problem is just making sure that we're trying to get the materials that are on the critical path. If it was CMU, that's not as much of a critical path, but stuff like insulation for the roof to get the roof down so that we can dry it in, that's where it really affects the schedule and what we're really trying so hard and over the past 3 months, really been trying to navigate and control that. And at some point, we thought we had it controlled, and then we find out they're backtracking on what they're telling us. So that's actually a part of the component that Joris is dealing with as well. And what we're seeing on other projects that we're dealing with.
And on our end, everything that has a cost change, we review. And that's a three-part, right? The contractor reviews the subcontractor, the architect and design team, whether it's mechanical, electrical, plumbing issues, and then we do our own vetting on cost. So anything that has a cost change, it goes through a couple approvals before it gets submitted or even approved by everybody.
Has to be substantiated.
Right. And on our end, I know we're also moving forward with all the district purchases to open and operate this pool. So we're trying to get into ahead of the ball, also to get ahead of lead time. So that's something that we're working on with the athletic and product director to bring in the next couple of months.
We're thinking we want to do that a little earlier, maybe next month, come to the board. To outfit this with the furniture it needs, the equipment it needs to run. We're trying to get a ballpark so we can ask the board for the fund balance to go get that stuff, because the longer we wait, I feel like we may run into those issues as well.
And y'all mentioned labor issues. You think that you're running into any labor issues, like you said?
Mainly labor and manufacturing, not so much labor on the job site. We've had some minor issues, but that's not what's really driven our schedule the most. But we have had issues where manufacturing plants just don't have the ability to really speed up production, like, you know, to meet the demand of the field. We have had a couple of issues.
Any more questions for the team?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
It's January, right? January.
Next year.
So don't say that in the state 2024 now.
No, I still have it. All right, next to present the tracks project, we have Cole Hensley with Doris as well.
This is another project. We run into really, I think, one area that needs a little bit of some extra time. So this will be another project that we're going to look at bringing a change order. This one's set to be completed the first part of December. We're looking at maybe extend that to the rest of the whole December and be like a December 31st June, where we had a lot of rain and some of the issues the same issues that they're facing with the natatorium, but not a larger scale. So let Cole go ahead and discuss this project.
So good evening, everyone. This is Resnick Middle School. This is the farthest along project we have. We actually finished this week about 90% of the sod on the field and the surrounding area. We are leaving that remaining 10% off so we can finish the track surfacing, which is scheduled to start next week. That is about the last remaining items we have for this school. We've got all the asphalt down, the curbs, all the football goalposts are in, and everything's just about wrapped up with this one. Just got the surfacing, which will take a couple weeks to lay down, another week for curing, and then we'll stripe it, and it'll be all wrapped up.
This one is actually on time.
Yes, yes, this one's on time. McNair, this one's just a little bit behind Resnick. They started the sod this week. They've probably done 15% of the field itself, but we're planning to be finished with the sod at the end of this week. And then the surfacing will follow shortly after, probably a week or so. Then that'll kind of follow that same timeline to get the rest of that surfacing done. We had a little fencing we're trying to get finished up this week as well, fencing and grading. So those are the last remaining items for this project as well. And this one, like I said, is a little bit behind Resnick, but it's pretty much on time as well. McAuliffe Middle School, we poured the curbs for the track on Monday. We're going to be placing asphalt on Thursday, and we'll give that a few days to cure, and then we'll continue on with our topsoil and sod in the field and surrounding area into next week. And then we'll just be waiting on the surfacing. We have a 28-day cure period for the asphalt. That's kind of been a schedule item that we've ran into. We weren't aware of at the beginning. But 28 days we have to cure and then we can place the surfacing. So that puts us a little bit closer to our December date, but it's not too much behind the others at this moment. We've also finished all of our storm drain on this one as well. So we're just getting ready for the asphalt right now. Scoby Middle School, this one is the little bit furthest behind. This one was really impacted by the weather. If you see on the bottom right side of that picture, that is about 15 to 20 feet lower than the left-hand side that we've been working our way to build up. We've actually about got that to grade currently. This photo is a little outdated, but we have finally been able to get that up to grade. But it's a little bit farther behind. We're planning to lime the track. That's the main subgrade base is a lime stabilized product. We're going to do that next week. And then about a week behind that, we'll start working on the curbs. That'll be about 2 weeks, give or take. And then we can start pouring the concrete, getting the asphalt, and then waiting on the cure time. So this is all weather permitting. It's been kind of a lot more rainy this year than we were anticipating, but this one has been kind of the trouble project, I'll call it. Just a little bit farther behind than we'd have liked.
And then this is the same. We had another contractor on site that was doing the renovation of Scoby, so they kind of took some space up back there. And this is the site we had to bring in a lot more dirt filled. So it was a combination of some weather and having the other contractor there, so they got a late start. This is the one that will most likely cause us to bring a change order to get more time for Doris to finish this project, and then still be finishing in December, so that it'll be ready for track season in January. Or remember, track season is for June. I don't want to say January. I think it's further along than that.
So Brandon, to be clear, all the tracks will be pretty much on time except Scoby.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
Pending weather. So I don't want to say that because we have 1 or 2 weeks where it rains every other day, then it still could be delayed. But to really finish the project and make sure all of them are done, we'll probably bring a change order next month and it'll be all completed by December 31st.
Okay. Any other questions, board members? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you. And I have 2 other updates to give you all fairly quickly. The third update is the Transportation Department renovation. CGC is currently working on this project. What they've targeted right now is the bus wash station, the actual warehouse part where all the equipment, the old equipment has now been removed, and they're doing selective demolition and make safe areas, as well as demolition on the actual bus wash in preparation for the foundation of the new structure. This is now going to be a covered or partly covered 3/4 of the way bus wash station. The other thing that CGC is working on is the painting of the exterior that was also approved. What you see here is just 3 different colors that were mocked up in place, and we selected our standard green. What's great, everything that they actually touched is primed, and they're going right now and doing the first and second coat on the building. On the interior, what they've taken over is the training room and the break room. Right now, all of the demolition is done. We're preparing for the new ceiling grid, the new ceiling tile, and the new partition, operable partition that will subdivide the space. But that's pretty much it on the transportation department. Do you guys have any questions?
No, sir.
And lastly will be our Sapos High School Phase 3. On this one, really the items that are pending will be the home ec rooms, the picture on your right. It's pretty much complete. It's all the 3 rooms have been waxed by Sapos High School custodians. Right now, we're finalizing and doing the punch walk on this space, as well as finalizing the new plumbing fixtures. The room that's still pending will be the new choir room. This was originally 2 rooms that were made into the new choir hall with a coffered ceiling. Right now, again, it's just finalizing, punch listing, and hardware that are waiting on this room. And the last item is the overhead doors on the CTE department that will be on the CTE building that will be done in the December break. But that's all that we have pending in Southwest High School. Any questions?
So come December, we'll be through 3 phases of Southwest High School renovation projects, and will be completed, and I know the principal and the former principal will be pretty excited to not have construction in that building. It's been a long road. And then
Like you guys,
the last thing is we took the facility subcommittee a breakdown of projects for 21, 22. We'd like to bring to the board next month and show you. We have 3 buckets of funds. We have our fund balance, which we can use for things, and then we have bond funds that we've been talking about, possible leftover funds that we could do some things that and add to our facilities. And then we put some things in ESSER 3 that deal with HVAC and upgrades and playground upgrades, things like that. We're going to bring a list to the board to show you our vision from the district on what we're looking to do this year, and then continue to work on an overall 5 to 7 year plan, looking at future bonds and what we need to do in the future. And so we plan to bring that as we go through the subcommittee and get ideas and kind of finalize. At least for 21, 22, we got a good idea. And we keep looking at it. So next month, we'd like to give an update of projects for this year, and then in the future, bring maybe to around back the overall scope of like what it looks like 5 to 7 years in Southwest.
You ready to remember?
Yes.
Thank you. Any questions on construction update? None. Thank you. Monthly tax report, monthly financial report, and monthly investment report, Brandon?
On the tax report, we're still at 98%. Our goal is to get to 99, 99.5. We have 1 more month, and we'll have some collections, so I think we'll get to 99. And that's pretty close to where we look at when we budget, look at the overall budget. I usually budget around 99.5, but it's COVID, and all that. But being at 98 at this point, almost at 99 is really great for tax collection.
Thank you. Financial report, investment report, anything you want to add? Okay. Any questions? You've had it before you?
Enrollment?
Okay.
What does enrollment look like right now?
I believe our enrollment's around year 13.2.
Yeah, you have a report before you.
Are we below what we were last year?
Yes, sir. I think at this time last year, we were at 13.402, and right now we're at 13.242.
There was about 300 million, so it's improving.
and additional enrollment, so. The new rooftops do help get our numbers back. Like I say, it's the same scenario every district in Texas, actually, that there is this loss of enrollment of students. Yeah. For various reasons, right? Why that is. But our visiting teachers continue to make contact, and I think, Adrian, we've been able to track all but 15 students this year of where our students are, pre-COVID to post-COVID, and that's a pretty good record, so doing a pretty phenomenal job.
And board members, you do have a copy in your packet, and if you still have questions later, please bring them to Brandon. Okay, review purchases over 50,000. Any questions on those? You've also had that before you. Calendar of events. Any comments from staff? Board members, any questions? You've had that before you. Okay. 2020-2021 BESL program evaluation.
Yes, sir. We have Ms. Dalila Garcia, our Assistant Superintendent
For curriculum and instruction, and she's going to bring this information. It's a requirement that we have a public meeting around this information, but we also have some really great news that I think Dalila would like to share with the audience and with our trustees.
Thank you, Dr. Versta, board members. What we have tonight is a yearly requirement. And so before November the 1st, we have to bring in the program evaluation for bilingual program. And so we do have some, we do have a total of 17.88% of our students that participate in bilingual programs, bilingual ESL programs. So we wanted to just show those numbers for us to just look at the services that we provide for the bilingual and ESL program for 2020-2021. We also have here the data where we are to present, what were the outcomes that were presented even from last year, from the 2021 spring assessments. So as we can notice is we have a lot of data up here, but amongst this data, like what Dr. Versta was saying, is we do have some great accomplishments that here, even during the pandemic, even during COVID, we were able to put in some really strong measures in place at the campuses, and our campus administrators were able to roll out, even though the students were during virtual. Although we did find that for kinder and first grade, if you notice, the TELPAS average composite, that was the area where we noticed that in kinder and first grade, we did not have enough progress. And also the participation was limited due to the fact that the students were virtual. And so we did notice that kinder, first grade, along with the remainder of the campuses, which is second grade through 12th grade, we were able to find that our state completion, also with the TELPA state completion, we were able to gain the enough composite score that we were able to obtain during that year. And so what we see here is where we're looking at 4th and 6th and 7th grade. Comparing to the state, we did not make that state progress in comparison with them. But even then, if you look at the entire district across, we are celebrating that across the district, we were able to meet 100% of the TELPA progress. If you average out all the numbers, we were able to even supersede what the state was doing in combined. So that's a big celebration that even during COVID time, we were able to find some successes and find some ways in order for us to intervene the needs of our bilingual and our bilingual students, bilingual ESL. So this is a piece that we do see how it really impacted. Back in 2018, we were putting some measures and structures in place in order for us to reclassify the students. In order for students to be reclassified, there's different criteria. And in different assessments, we look at the STAR assessment, and we also look at the performance and the TELPAS. So we were pretty much gaining some ground here with 2019, where we see that we really grew from 18 classified students to 61 reclassified students, and then our pandemic year. In our pandemic year, we see that there's 90 with an asterisk, because in that year, the STAR assessment was not given in that spring, so the state went ahead and put in some additional criteria. So we were able to reclassify a good amount of students. But then when we come back to 2021, we notice how here we were impacted again with it was virtual testing for these two criteria assessments. And so we were only able to reclassify 17 in this fall. So this is the piece that we do want to celebrate is out of our 19 campuses, we do, as a district, we are the top 25 school district in Texas. So huge celebration, where we do have enough, the top 25 in English language proficiency growth. And then we were able to close the gaps in our top 25. We're the top 25 school district. So even though we still have some campuses that we are continuing to work with, which is McAuliffe and Resnick, you will notice here that we did not meet the closing gaps, whatever the requirement is by the state. But overall, what we do celebrate is that our district is going to be recognized this year on October the 26th in El Paso, Texas, at the Texas Association of Bilingual Educators. And so Southwest ISD is going to be highlighted with the work that we were able to accomplish. So that's a huge celebration. So amongst all the numbers that we see here, there is a lot of great work that is happening. And we do appreciate our parents that have been through the virtual, by just all of this work that happened. We appreciate our community for being part of this great effort. So huge celebration to everyone. And so we will continue to work with everyone, which is from our parents, as mentioned, our students, of course, and our counselors, teachers, principals, and administrators. And even during the pandemic year, we were able to reach 1,188 participants. So even though we were virtual, we were still providing professional development. We were still meeting with parents. We were still having coffee, cafecito, virtually. So the bilingual department did a great job to be able to find a way to reach our community as well. And so on the right-hand side, you're going to see just a different work that they're doing, which is just the strategies, getting into the classrooms, and reaching the needs of our bilingual students. And so here, another celebration is, just back in 2017, 2018, we were really just trying to figure out how are we going to meet the needs of our bilingual ESL students for secondary classrooms. And so here, just to report, we no longer need a waiver. That means that we don't have to come to the board to ask you for a waiver in order for us to provide services for our bilingual and ESL students in the secondary. We've been able to provide services for our teachers for them to be able to get certified in ESL, and this year we have the best teachers in the classrooms to provide the best service for our bilingual and ESL students in the secondary as well. And so that pretty much concludes our bilingual ESL program evaluation for this year.
Thank you, Dalia. Any questions?
Good job.
So can I just make a comment? Just want to commend Dalila, Israel Gonzalez, their whole staff. And we hear they're one of the top 25 in Texas. I just want the audience and board to know there's over 1,130 school districts in Texas. So it gives you a point of reference as to that level of pathway and trajectory that our vessel program is working on. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you once again. Item 7 on personnel and property will move to after item 11 in closed session. Okay, so now we will go on to item 8. I see nothing listed. Is that still correct, Dr. Risto?
Correct.
Okay, item 9, business and finance. A, consider approval to replace chillers at McAuliffe Middle School.
Yes,
Brandon.
Thomas Kruger is going to present on this topic.
Good evening. As we've done before at some of our other schools, McAuliffe Middle School is the last school that we have not, in the last 6 years, switched out the 2 air-cooled chillers that control the AC and heating in the building. So in the past couple of years, we've had several units go out, or several circuits on those units go out, and some ranges somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 every time we have to replace a circuit. So we've solicited a quote from Airstream, who is our maintenance provider for our chillers and boilers. They have come back with the cost to replace both chillers at $342,730. It includes the complete removal and replacement, also includes a 5-year warranty on parts and labor. So the funding for this project will actually be from ESSER 3 funds. So the recommendation is that the board approve Airstream to replace 2 air-cooled chillers at McAuliffe Middle School for $342,730.
Questions?
I move.
I second. A motion is second that the board approve Airstream to replace 2 air-cooled chillers at Scoby Middle School for $342,730. $730. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Thomas. And then we have consider approval of TA waiver for the general education homebound student.
Yes, I am asking for the board to approve tonight. We are providing services for our homebound students just like we should. The state does require that we provide these services face-to-face, but due to some critical needs of our students, the parents have also requested that we would provide these services remote. So we are asking for the board to approve this waiver. Once this waiver is approved by the board, we do submit this to TA. It is up until then that we can then turn around and get some funding as well for us providing not the face-to-face, but virtual instruction to our homebound students. So I'm asking the board to approve this service.
If I understand this correctly, if we approve, it'll be for 92,917, of which 50,000 will be part of a SECO grant?
Yeah,
Is that-
so, now, you skip to
You
C
skip
and I.
them all?
Oh, yeah, it's
Now
okay.
go back to number 2 for us. I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Parking and the lighting.
We're on B.
Oh,
Do you want to finish that
okay.
item, or?
We can finish that item.
Okay, let's finish this side. I see what I did. And I even circled it.
So we're just asking the board to approve the waiver for, this is one for the homebound students to provide remote services.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second on item 10A. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, now we'll jump back to item 9B. Consider approval to replace street parking and wall pack lighting at 11 campuses. My apology, Thomas.
No problem. Through past bond projects that we've done, 2018 bond, every campus that we've touched recently, we have gone through and replaced all of the street parking and wall pack lighting, all the old HID type lights that are now moving to LED. So we've done that on all those previous projects. We still currently have 11 campuses that need to be updated for safety of the students and staff, and they're considerably more efficient on the power usage. So district staff work with FSG, who is a company that actually, they do a turnkey project. The thing about FSG is there are also CPS rebates that we can go out and get. FSG automatically absorbs those CPS rebates and they handle all the paperwork themselves, where we don't have to pay it out and then wait for CPS to pay us back. So we've asked FSG to put together a quote to do these last 11 campuses. Their replacement project is $92,917. However, we did go put this project towards or applied for a grant from SECO, and SECO has awarded the district $50,000 to put towards this. So in the end, it will ultimately only cost the district $42,917. The recommendation is for the board to approve FSG to replace all the street parking and wall pack lighting at the 11 campuses for $92,917. They will be funded $50,000 from SECO grant funds and the remainder from fund balance.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. The board approve FSG to replace street parking and wall pack lighting at 11 campuses for $92,917 at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, now item 9C, consider approval of a joint election.
I make a motion that we table this
I
at this
second
time.
Okay. We have a motion, this item be tabled, and we have a second. Okay, this is a non-debatable motion. So at this time, I will call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Nay.
Motion passes. Item is tabled. Item 9C is tabled. This time we'll go to item 10B since we took care of A. Consider approval of TA waiver for the general education homebound student.
Right, this approval would be for the same request as we just finished with adult education. We have general ed students that are homebound, receiving services, also face-to-face, but due to their critical illness, it is now that it's being requested for us to do this virtually as well. So we are asking for the board to approve this waiver for us to provide services virtually. And we would be also submitting this waiver to the state for approval, and we will be pending that approval from the state.
Second.
Daniel, was that a motion?
Daniel
And
made the
Sullivan,
motion.
a second? Okay, we have a motion, a second, that the board approve the 4 TEA waivers, one for each remote special education homebound student. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Consider approval of the 2021-2022 purchases from Apple Incorporated Computer Lab Company.
Yes, we are making a request for us to purchase 30 Apple computers in order for us to be able to provide industry-based certification. And this will be through our audio video technology program of study. So we do need these Apple computers in order for us to be able to install the Adobe Premiere Pro program for them to be able to get that specific certification.
And that is being funded by local funds?
It will be funded through the high school, Legacy High School's Career Technology local funds.
Okay.
I move.
Second. We have a motion and a second that the board approve the 2021-2022 purchase from Apple Incorporation as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Do you have your one more thing, Dr. Versta?
No, we have
Goguardian. Consider approval of the purchase from Goguardian.
Yes, just through our pandemic year, we were able to pilot Goguardian, and this program is a software that allows for us to monitor the activity, the online activity of the students in real time. And we are able to see the engagement, what is the type of software that they're engaging in. And even through this activities that we were monitoring, we were able to also identify 2 students with self-harm interventions that we were able to put in place. So overall, we've been able to find that campus administrators and teachers have found this Goguardian software a great benefit in order for us to intervene on time and also provide instruction on time and also provide interventions on time. So we are asking for the board to approve with the use of Title IV funds, the purchase of Goguardian software for $59,730.
I move. Second.
We have a motion and a second that the board approve the purchase from Goguardian as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, now we will go and do your one more item.
Yes, sir. Just 2 more. I think at your place on the dais, if you look, we have a list of forthcoming activities this week. We'd also like to make a note that we're asking the board to move our November 2nd round bag to the following week, which will be November 9th. So we'll have the November 9th round bag, and then we'll have the board meeting the week after that, on the 16th. The reason for that move we're requesting is that site visit to Tropicana, so that we can actually go kick the tires on the P1 project and go do our learning and bring that information home and put together a project that's going to be very supporting of our most identified needy students and really kind of help them in the SEL world as well. I'd also like to inform the board that we got our community labs COVID testing today. We had 3,037 students test yesterday, and we received back 1 positive, which is really great
Awesome.
news. And it's a really great trajectory, and we've seen this decline. And you know, all we had to do is bring Linda Ganetto over here. Thank you, Linda, for sending that data. But that's exceptional news to look at, and it means that we're in a different phase. So I'll be having conversations with senior staff and principals and see where we go and what flexibilities may exist. I know we're one of 5 districts who still don't have a requirement. So we're going to have those conversations. So I just want to share that exciting news because it's exciting for us to see.
Okay, and board members, if you look at your calendars later today, tomorrow, and November 9th, totally does not work, please let us know as soon as possible so we can make adjustments as needed, okay?
For what? I'm sorry, for
For
what?
November 9th,
The brown
brown
bag.
bag instead of November 2nd, as you requested.
Oh, okay.
During major conflict, we can do it any day.
Yes, that's why I'm asking them to check their calendars. Okay. You had one.
Yeah, I just would like to thank the community for coming out and giving your voice to our election process, and all of those things you said, they'll be considered. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Okay, hearing none. At this time, I'm going to try and read this. As permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.146 of the Texas Government Code, the open meetings law, we will go into closed session at 7:06. If that clock is still 2 minutes ahead. 7:05.
We'll call the meeting back to order at 7:50.
Roger, you good?
Moving back to item 7, superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendations on personnel.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Item 7B, consider authorizing the superintendent to enter into negotiations for proposed future school site.
I move that we authorize the superintendent to enter into negotiations regarding real property.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Lloyd, one more thing?
I do not, I know we have a trunk or treat coming up. Roger, do you have details?
Next Friday, the 29th.
Next Friday, the 29th, and where would that be held at?
Southwest Elementary.
Southwest Elementary parking lot.
And
And we did
Oh, it's
secure,
on
we did
there? Okay.
secure a site for the school board.
the school board,
Yes, yes, we've secured the site.
Jesse Garcia got the site for us.
Yes.
He said he has all the signage we need and the magnets and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we're good to
Yes,
go on
Francis.
that. If y'all want, what time does it start? I'm just asking what time. 5:30? So let's, if y'all can be there, then maybe 4:30, we can decorate the vehicle and get ready to go.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
next Friday.
The 29th.
You want to say something?
In front of you, you received a packet.
Oh,
We're
thank
going
you.
to make sure that we always provide to you any surveys that go out to the public. This came from the purchase of the panorama for social emotional learning. We wanted to make sure that you were able to see any types of questions that our students were able to ask. From now on, it will be an opt-in instead of an opt-out. So we wanted to make sure that you have the questions in front of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Anything else, Lloyd?
That's it.
Okay, then we will, any,
Oh,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you. Yes, Brendan, where were you? So yes, it brings me great honor to remember that I would like to introduce Miss Debbie Jones. Miss Debbie Jones is going to be, is named our principal of Southwest Elementary. So Debbie, congratulations to you, and we're very happy to have you. We also joining us from Northside, the board took action at the last meeting, and she needed a little runway to transition, but now she's officially Southwest Family, our Director of Health Services, Miss Linda Guerrero. And Linda's alum, and we're welcome her back. Really incredible people coming to Southwest, we're excited.
okay, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:53.